Hi friends! Today our Holy Week story starts with the disciples. Have you ever heard of them? The disciples were a group of Jesus' special friends who followed him everywhere he went. They listened to all of his teaching, and the more they listened, the more they thought, man, this man seems like a prophet. A prophet is a special messenger God sent to tell his people about him. Today's story is about the prophet who talked to a tree.
One day, right after Jesus made a mess in the temple, Jesus and his disciples were walking along a road in Jerusalem, and Jesus was really hungry. Have you ever been really hungry before? And Jesus needed a snack. So he went up to a fig tree and to grab a quick fig to eat for a snack. Do you have a picture of a tree on your block?
Yep.
That is the tree we are talking about.
Have you ever eaten a fig? Figs are a purple fruit that were all over the road in Israel where Jesus lived. They were also an important fruit for God's people, the Jews. In the past, God had even spoken through the prophets, remember God's special messengers, saying, "You are my special fig tree. If you listen to me, I'll plant you, I'll water you, and give you plenty of sun. And guess what? You will bear my fruit."
Now, the fig tree that Jesus went up to looked healthy. It had lots of dark, shiny green leaves and healthy branches poking out all over the place. But try as they might, the disciples looked and looked and looked, and they couldn't find a single fig on it. No figs, no fruit. And that's when Jesus surprised his disciples. He went up and he started talking to the tree. He said, "Guess what, fig tree? If you aren't going to bear fruit now, you aren't going to bear fruit ever again."
Now, the disciples figured that Jesus must have been cranky because he was hungry. Sometimes I get like that. But Jesus wasn't being cranky. He was a prophet, speaking God's words, and what he said came true. The next day, they were walking along the same road when the disciples spotted the tree. It had withered away. No fruit, no leaves, just dead, barren branches. How do you think the disciples felt?
I would have been really surprised to see that.
That's right, the disciples were shocked. None of them could make a tree live or die like that, and Jesus did it with a few words.
Jesus' disciples were also shocked because they remembered God's lesson about the fig tree. They remembered the promise that God had delivered through the prophets. He promised to make his people like a healthy fig tree. And he warned the people that if they didn't listen, they would be like the fig tree on the side of the road that looked pretty and didn't have any fruit. Or even worse, a fig tree that withered away like the one they were looking at now.
The disciples recognized that Jesus must be a prophet. They listened extra close to what he had to say over the next few days because they didn't want to miss out on another word that was coming from God.
And everyone who saw the fig tree wondered, was Jesus a prophet or was he a king? And what kind of kingdom would he bring?
We'll find out more about that as we walk through and continue our time looking at Holy Week. Hope to see you tomorrow.